AITAH for cutting off my mother because she does not want to divorce her husband? Story 1. When I 20M was like 10, my parents got divorced. My mother 50F immediately shacked up with her affair partner, which I didn't know at that time. My father 50M is a stoic man, but I could see sadness in his eyes when I went to live with my mother and her AP. She married him later. I recently found out about the affair from my dad. He said he wanted me to know about it since I am old enough to know now, and I am thankful. I confronted my mom and her husband tried to intervene. I told him to not open his disgusting mouth in front of me. So he left us alone, and I asked my mother how would she feel if my wife cheated on me, then married the guy she cheated with, and make my kids go in same home as him. She didn't have any answer. She kept repeating that she was sorry. I told her to divorce and never see him again, or I will never talk to her ever again. I basically asked her to choose between her husband and me. I had given her a month and all I heard was excuses. She told me she is too old to start over. She told me that she will do anything else, AITAH, etc. I called her a week ago and asked her whether she was getting a divorce. She didn't say yes, so I blocked her. She is out of my life. She did try to come to my apartment, but thankfully my roommates told her to GTFO. My roommates are now forcing me to think it through, and I don't have anything to say. I gave her a simple choice. She chose him over me like she chose him over my father. That's who she is. That's who she will always be. Our advice. It sounds like you're going through a very tough situation, and it's understandable that you're feeling hurt and betrayed by your mother's actions. Making decisions about family relationships can be incredibly difficult, especially when there's been betrayal and hurt involved. However, cutting off contact with a family member is a big step and one that can have lasting consequences. Before making a final decision, it might be helpful to consider a few things. Complexity of relationships. Family dynamics are often complex, and there may be factors at play that you're not fully aware of. Your mother's decision to stay with her husband, despite your ultimatum, could be influenced by a variety of factors, including financial dependence, emotional attachment, or fear of change. Impact on you. Consider how cutting off contact with your mother will affect you in the long term. While you may feel justified in your decision now, it's important to think about whether it's something you'll regret later on. Is there room for forgiveness or reconciliation in the future? Communication and boundaries. Have you clearly communicated your feelings and boundaries to your mother? It's possible that she may not fully understand the depth of your hurt or the seriousness of your ultimatum. Open, honest communication can sometimes lead to greater understanding and resolution. Support system. It's great that you have supportive roommates, but it might also be helpful to seek guidance from a trusted friend, family member, or therapist who can provide a different perspective and support you through this process. Ultimately, the decision to cut off contact with your mother is yours to make, but it's important to make it from a place of clarity and understanding. Take the time you need to reflect on your feelings and consider all aspects of the situation before making a final decision. First comment. I may get blasted for this, but while you have every right to be angry and it's ultimately up to you, you should not make a decision like this based on anger. Should she have cheated? Absolutely not. But consider a few things. You don't know the state of their marriage before that. While she was at fault for cheating, oftentimes a marriage is broken before the infidelity. I doubt that your parents would consider getting back together. Is your mom supposed to be alone and miserable for the rest of her life? If she does divorce her affair partner, will you step in and help her when she needs things? Take care of her as she ages? This hurt you and your dad, but the hurt between them is just that. Between them. Has she been a good mother to you otherwise? I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve blame, but if this is the only thing that makes you think that you should break off all forms of contact with her. Your dad was hurt. Did he ask for this? If yes, it might give you some insight into why she cheated. It's not an excuse, but not all cheating is equal. If no, you might be opening up old wounds for both of them. Take some time. Talk to a counselor. Process through your anger and grief before you make a decision that hurts your mom. I tend not to call someone an AITAH for cutting contact with a toxic person, but I am leaning towards that. You have a right to be angry and hurt, but you don't get to dictate what she does with her life. And don't you think that you should understand everything before you do? Second comment. Not that it matters, but your mom doesn't for this situation but for her past choices. You suck because this is pointless. What does this ultimatum change? Does it change your hurt? Does it change your dad's? Does it fix it? Or does it simply make her as miserable as the two of you? Cheating sucks, divorce sucks. Being 10 and losing your world sucks. That is your mom's fault for sure. Obviously, I don't know what your parents' marriage was like, but nothing in life happens in a vacuum. It's all cause and effect. Pain pursues pleasure to get rid of pain, so your mom was in pain of some sort to cause the cheating, maybe from her childhood, maybe from her marriage, who knows? I sure don't. I do know that after 10 years with her new partner, telling her the only way you will have a relationship with her is for her to divorce her husband is hateful and illogical. And I am sorry you are facing this. That's hard. I hope things get better for you. More update, get it? I don't give anyone permission to cross-post or share it on other subreddits or share it on TikTok. Don't message me. Story 2. AITAH for not wanting to live with my husband's kids. My husband has 3 kids from the previous marriage, and we have one that is ours. We recently moved in the same town as his kids, and a few months in, the kid's mom decided to move to another state with her boyfriend. The 2 older teenagers said they don't want to leave their school, and the youngest one decided to go with her. She did not communicate with us any of that. The 2 kids were basically just dropped off with all of their belongings at our place. So not did she only left her kids behind, but also broke the siblings up that have been together since birth. I want to mention my husband travels for work and is mostly gone. I am home with all the kids most of the time, and our relationship is not the best. Also, the kids were usually staying with us the whole summer vacation every year at our previous home, and we were seeing them occasionally on holidays in spring and fall. Recently, I found out one of the kids is telling lies about me to make her feel better, maybe, and I do not want any of that drama and nonsense around my son. As much as I try to make it feel like home for them, I am not their mother that they grew up with and that they're used to. Plus, we weren't even going to stay in this town, as my husband travels for work and we're trying to save up for a house. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but this whole situation put a big halt into our lives, and we're stuck in this town now, living in a very small space that we had to figure out quick, since our 3-member family became a family of 5 overnight. I guess I'm just ranting and looking for some outside views on the situation. Our advice. It sounds like you're dealing with a complex and challenging situation. It's understandable that you might be feeling overwhelmed and frustrated, especially with the sudden change in living arrangements and the added stress of having to accommodate your husband's children from his previous marriage. Firstly, it's important to recognize that your feelings are valid. Adjusting to living with stepchildren, especially when the circumstances are unexpected and the relationship dynamics are strained, can be incredibly difficult. It's also natural to want to prioritize the well-being and comfort of your own child. However, it's essential to approach this situation with empathy and understanding. While you may not have the same bond with your stepchildren as their biological mother does, they are still part of your husband's family and deserve to feel supported and cared for, especially during such a tumultuous time. Communication is key in navigating these challenges. Have an open and honest conversation with your husband about your concerns and feelings. Discuss potential strategies for managing the dynamics within the household and addressing any issues that arise, such as the lies being told by one of the children. Consider seeking support from a therapist or counselor who specializes in blended family dynamics. They can provide guidance and tools for improving communication, setting boundaries, and fostering a positive environment for all members of the family. Remember that building a strong family unit takes time and effort from everyone involved. While it may be challenging in the beginning, with patience, understanding, and proactive communication, you can work towards creating a harmonious living situation for your blended family. First comment. Day. AITAH. What the hell is wrong with you complaining about your husband's kids that you knew he had? And of course these kids are acting out. Their mom just turned their lives upside down with no notice to anyone and split them from their sibling at the same time. You need to be AF king adult about this and deal with it. It's keeping you from buying a house elsewhere? Boo F king who? When you marry someone with kids, you are marrying the kids too. You're just upset you can no longer pretend he doesn't have other children. Second comment. Taysher. I would say Esh. She married into a blended family and didn't prepare for all possible scenarios. And instead of family therapy, reworking plans, figuring out what's best for everyone and holding her husband accountable for not stepping up and leading the efforts to fix this ... She just doesn't want them there. If she decided to leave the marriage BC of this, she wouldn't be an asshole in my opinion. But to just not want to live with them and still be married and bring up future houses? She's an absolutely asshole and silly as hell. Which makes me think she isn't the most reliable narrator BC. I feel like things are definitely missing BC. She comes off very unpleasant and selfish in this. The husband sucks BC. Where the FAK is he? He's working all the time and can't be bothered to step in and actually parent his kids. The kids suck for being teenagers and still lying on people, but I have grace for them. More update. Edit it. It seems like I triggered a lot of people with this. I apologize if I made it sound like I don't want my stepkids in my life. I did not mean to come out like that. There's a lot of things that are not being said in the post that reflect my feelings about this, and it is definitely not anything to do with me not liking my stepkids.